Hey there, my name's Ash, and I am a queer witch, an astrologer, and a flower essence creator coming to you with a Capricorn season 2021 forecast. I'd love it if you would subscribe to my email newsletter, which you can find a link to in the description below. And I send out weekly forecasts every week, letting you know all about the most important transits that are happening in the week ahead, as well as updates on my offerings. I always have a lot of this information up on my website. You can read about it on my blog, and you can always refer back to that written horoscope every week as the month unfolds. This Capricorn season is a pretty special time. So the sun enters Capricorn on December 21st, and this is just hours before Saturn and Jupiter make their exact conjunction, the Great Conjunction, which is initiating us into the Age of Air. So, you maybe have heard some people call it the Age of Aquarius, some people have called it the Age of Air, but really when we get down to it, what is going on is that Saturn and Jupiter make a conjunction every 20 years, and this represents cultural shifts. These are the planets that really represent the things that make our culture work, make us move in different directions. And this one is significant for many reasons. It's the closest conjunction that we've had between these two planets since 1623. The closest observable, we can see it in the sky, since 1226. This one is also happening at 0 degrees Aquarius, which represents a brand new beginning. It's right at the beginning of the sign, right at the beginning of the sign of Aquarius. And for the last 200 years, the conjunctions between Jupiter and Saturn have all happened in Earth signs. So this one is happening in an air sign, Aquarius, and it's a really big deal. This is a shift that we're going to feel for the next couple of years, for the next 20 years, and really until we're all, gonna die. Happy Capricorn season, we're already talking about death. So in the first week of Capricorn season, like I said, it begins on December 21st. It's the start of this kind of new year feeling. And the desire to set intentions and goals, like I said, it's totally still there. We want to grow and we want to expand and change, just like we always do. But with Jupiter, the planet of growth, sidled up with Saturn, the planet of rules and boundaries, we know that we maybe can't be quite as optimistic as we would like to, or that our optimism is going to have to come with a lot of work. And, no one's a stranger to work. We've all been working pretty hard for the last few years. But we also have to look at things like, what are the external influences to our goals? So, Instagram and Facebook, you get on these apps and there's just like tons of ads for losing weight and all of the lists of accomplishments that everyone that we know is posting about, everything that they were able to accomplish still in 2020. So it's really easy to get wrapped up in that old mindset, that old way of thinking about how we measure success, how we measure whether or not we succeeded with our goals. And this could make us start to feel anxious and nervous, and maybe like we're losing track of time, or we have no idea how to plan for the future because we don't know exactly what the future is going to look like. Saturn is square to revolutionary changemaker Uranus, and I think this is an interesting combination because Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius and Saturn is in Aquarius and is the traditional ruler of the sign. So it's kind of like these two planets are coming to head with what does it mean to be innovative and what does it mean to craft and create a future? We want to do something new and exciting here at the beginning of Capricorn season, and we maybe feel like we're spinning our wheels, simultaneously creating a stable foundation, but also desperately wanting to pave a new way forward. And for people who are maybe in more politically progressive groups, there's maybe also going to be some friction between how can you create a revolution? Can you create a revolution through incremental steps, or do we need to take bolder action? Is the bolder action or the bolder mindset too much? Does it ostracize people who would potentially be on our team? Both sides think that they're completely right with their approach to creating a new and different world, and they maybe aren't that interested in listening to each other at this point in time. On December 23rd, Mars is moving through the final degrees of Aries, where Mars has been sitting cozy since June 27th, 2020. It's been a long time of actions coming from self-interest, and on this day Mars makes a square to Pluto and Capricorn, highlighting generational and intergenerational conflict around what counts or qualifies as selfish behavior. Boundaries are required to show care, and that's in the way we act as well as the way we communicate. With so many opinions about who or what is right, on December 25th, we need to be tactful and controlled in our communication, because hurt can easily come with our words, with Mercury and Capricorn square Chiron and Aries. While we maybe want to change someone else's opinion, sometimes the best way to have an impact is to show the ways in which you have changed and not have to verbally communicate or tell somebody else what to do. We need to hold space for new perspectives and for making space for people to change their minds. But better days for these kinds of conversations exist in the weeks ahead, and rather than giving people assignments or trying to fix them, indulge in some familiar comforts and don't get caught up in the mind war. Recognize that you are changing, and the people you love are changing, and the people you don't like are changing, and everyone is moving their bodies, their hearts, their minds, and while it might not always be in the direction you think they need to go, people also need space to grow and move and make mistakes. Look at yourself and look at what you have learned about the power struggles within yourself over the last couple of years. Focus on how you can start a revolution within yourself and how you can continue the work that you've been doing. The internal work that you are doing will set things in motion on January 14th when Uranus stations direct. In the second week of Capricorn season, we begin with a full moon in Cancer, which invites us to reflect on all we had to let go of in the last few years. This eclipse cycle in Capricorn and Cancer ended in July 2020, and this is the first major lunation that we've had on that axis since July 13th, 2018 that wasn't an eclipse, and aren't we all glad for that? As you look into the mirror at yourself, where can you honor and expose the work that you did in that time? Where can you shed tears over anything that you lost, even if it's just behind closed doors? In this act of vulnerability, you will open the gateway to imagination. You are opening a gateway to speak your dreams and your fears and let all of the possibilities wash over you. Something is complete within you and without you. As the week progresses, Venus in Sagittarius makes an exact square to Neptune, inviting us to let go of or reconnect to dreams from the past. We need to hold space for the impossible dreams in a world of restrictions, and we feel pulled in new and different directions. The new year asks us to prioritize adventure, but how do we do it? Time has changed our dreams and our ability to move and change our mind and explore all the world has to offer. Our dreams have changed, and so have we. The sense of completion that comes up maybe will feel a little like grief, and it could feel a little sensitive, but it can also feel exciting and scary, and maybe like something that we just want to hold that excitement close to ourselves for the time being. But when the moon enters Leo on January 1st and we get that kickoff into the year of 2021, we are trying to take a practical approach to finding the adventure that we seek and make space to share our desires in a safe way, whether that's writing them down or telling a trusted friend. And it's important to treat yourself with care and tenderness and not judge the desires of the heart that come up. In week 3 of Capricorn season, Mars is at that final degree of Aries, 29 degrees Aries, and we may feel like everyone is acting more selfishly than ever. Mercury is conjunct to Pluto, and news about death and power will inform how we are going to move forward. There's a feeling of optimism that is subdued by restrictions from Saturn, coupled with anger towards people who are only acting in their self-interest. In fact, we are all acting in our best interest. It's just that some people have other people in mind at the same time. The moon is in Virgo here at the beginning of the week, and how we will manage health concerns requires a collective effort. There is indeed a right way to act and a wrong one in this situation, but not everybody wants to hear that. People have ambitions, things that they want to achieve, and you are one of them. There is nothing wrong with ambition as long as we don't trample over others in the process. On January 6th, Mars finally enters into Taurus. Woo! And we're all happy about it. At least we can take action in a different way for the first time in 6 months, even if it means we have to leave some people behind. Differences in our relationships are highlighted. Boundaries around technology need to be enforced, with so many of us more reliant on our devices and platforms for work, education, and pleasure than ever before. As we return home from the holidays, where we maybe had a taste of freedom from the screens that we are so bound to, the struggle to balance our connected time is paramount. It's the last quarter moon in Libra during this week, and we're entering into the darkest part of the moon cycle. We want to maintain harmony, but we might feel like we're sacrificing more than we'd like to in order to get necessary work done. It's hard to listen to others when we have to stay focused on our work and thinking 10 steps ahead of any impending calamities. The way we think and the way we act just can't seem to line up at this time, and we might feel like settling into la-la land in order to avoid it all. Mercury enters Aquarius and Venus enters Capricorn on January 8th, and it's time to face up to some facts. We don't know how to feel, but we sure know how to think and logic our way through things, don't we? And this will be one of the key things we'll have to focus on and think about. When is it thinking motivated and when is it feeling motivated? And this is part of the transition that we're moving into in the age of air. The good news is that there are people that we can work with who share similar viewpoints and goals, and we look for each other again through those devices that are never far from our hands. The direction we all need to move in requires space for change and growth and changing minds. We can't all always be right, and we can't all always be wrong, and it's kind of freeing when you think about it that way. In short, we are all going to fail, and that's part of changing and growing. Have some fun with it, because on June 8th, Venus and Mars are also trine to each other, which gives us the ability to overcome any obstacle with the support of friends and the things we love to do. In this final week of Capricorn season, the week ahead of the inauguration in the United States feels surreal. It's a new year, it really is, but there are some things that we can't seem to move on from 2020. Change is happening all around us, which is exciting, and we try to be optimistic, but we don't want to be so optimistic that we ignore or erase the pain of the people who are going through different things than we are, and this is where some conflicts could emerge. There's an old way of acting that causes harm and abuses power. There's a new way of acting that tries to do better, but struggles to release itself from old viewpoints. Inspired and innovative work is a requirement, and it starts with people. The way we relate, the way we communicate, the way we're willing to admit when we're wrong or have caused someone else pain. There's a new moon in Capricorn on January 12th, and it's time to set an intention for the work we want to do. And I don't mean work like punching in and punching out and eventually burning out. I mean work that requires you to recognize the power and agency that you have in your life. Rather than pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, pulling yourself up out of the dumps of 2020. Loving yourself as you are while simultaneously holding yourself accountable for the changes you want to make in your life and in your community. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we have to do it together. The change we desire begins between you and the people around you. I hope you enjoyed this Capricorn season horoscope, and I'm looking forward to sharing more horoscope videos with you in the year ahead. And I look forward to reading for you. I look forward to meeting you, and I look forward to being part of your own healing journey. I hope you have a great year, and thanks for tuning in.